All right, how you doing? Are you still trying to find your purpose? Are you trying to get more focused with your purpose? I have a very simple way to help you with that. It's a very simple tool, but to make it more effective, you have to be very honest with yourself. Now, what I mean by that is you need to be aware of yourself. Okay, this is no deep therapy or deep digging in your subconscious. This is just being aware. So if this is your first time trying this, try to do it alone. Okay, set some time aside, someplace private. You don't need to worry about anyone listening to you, because you're probably not going to be talking out loud. You're just going to be writing things down. But I want you to focus on you. No distractions, anything else. Okay? Now, see, if you try to do this and if you're still struggling, you can ask friends, family, coworkers for some input, because people outside of you sometimes will see things about you that you are not aware of. You try to ignore. We all have our habits. We all have our strange behaviors. But anyhow, they might be able to fill in the gaps for you. But if you've done exercises like this before, you may be able to do it on your own. And that's where I want you to start. All right? So now let's have a little bit of fun. This concept that I'm going to teach today, when I do it in a workshop format, face to face with real people in a real classroom, in the same spot, this is one of the ones I have really enjoyed. It's just fun. It's just fun. The feedback I get is incredible, but there's some play involved. That even adults like some play. Now, what we're going to do is very low tech. Okay, you don't need your iPhone, you don't need AI, you don't need Google, you don't need whatever whiz bang thing there is. All you need for this, besides yourself, and to be awake and conscious, is some paper, several sheets of paper, and something to write with, pen, pencil, whatever, doesn't matter. So, like I said before, this is about self-awareness. You need to be aware of things. You have to think about your daily activities, because what we're using to collect here is your activities. What do you do on a regular daily basis, or within a 7-day week, whatever? These are activities, things that you do, okay? And that's why I want privacy, because you can put down whatever you want on these papers, okay? So doing these, we're going to create some lists, okay? Doing these lists, you can either do it in one sitting. In other words, you may be able to do all these lists in the time you allot at one time. Or, if you've never done anything like this before, or you've never done this before, haven't thought about these things before, you might rush through it. You might have just some distractions. You may wake up in the middle of the night and go like, oh, there's one other thing I do. I forgot about this, and I need to put it on that list. Take your time, okay? There's no rush. But yeah, try to get a lot of it done the first time, and if you need some more time to come back to it and do some tweaking, fine. When I did this first time, when I created this myself, and no, I did not invent this. This concept's been around for a while. I just happened to think about it like other people have. I have left these lists out and some of the other activities, and I've come back to it later to tweak it, okay? So, what is the process? What's the diagrams? Well, it's 3 rings. And I'm not going to get into it today, but if you ever notice that a lot of very powerful things come in 3s, and that's what we're going to work on now, is 3 rings. Okay, just think of 3 rings, interwoven rings. Now here's one example. I'll do it right now. Is the triangle. The shape of a triangle is extremely strong. If you get popsicle sticks or whatever, 3 sides, glue them together, screw them together, whatever you want to do, put some pressure on those corners, and you notice it doesn't move much, okay? You'll see it in like geodesic domes, I think they use triangles. But anyhow, it's a very strong figure. Take a square, for instance, or a rectangle, 4 sides. Do the same thing. Get some popsicle sticks, screw them together, glue them together, put some pressure on one side, it's going to collapse. Okay, it's just the nature of a triangle is to be very strong. Okay, so what are these rings I'm talking about? Now, when I came up with this concept, as far as I know, I'm the only one using this analogy, is I was looking for something because I knew these 3 things had to be together. You couldn't just do one, you just couldn't do 2. You had all 3 to make it work, okay? And somehow, I don't remember, this was years ago, I was looking this up, and there's a thing called Borromean rings. And the name of the symbol is after a noble Italian family way back when, and on their coat of arms, they had the symbol. Why, I don't know, you can do your research on that, but it's 3 interlaced, interwoven rings. And the way that they are put together, strung together, is that if you remove any one of them, the other 2 come apart. So if you don't have all 3 together, you have none. You have 3 separate rings, okay? And I thought that was really cool. Now, what I said about being fun to do a class or a workshop is that the night before I'd get all my materials ready. Okay, I'm old school, handing out papers and things like that, things that people can take with them. But I also got construction paper, and you can use things like, you know, different color, which would probably be easier, but I didn't have any yarn, creating circles, different colors, and then you interweave them. And I will have links down below in the description where you can go. You can get really nerdy. It's also a mathematical thing. Why, I don't know. I didn't study it. But the way that they're interwoven keeps them together, unless, of course, one is cut. So I make all these sets of rings and bring them to the classroom, to the meeting room. And one of the things that I enjoyed doing is I would give them to people and say, pick any color you want, any ring you want, cut it, rip it, whatever. Take that out and hold the other rings and watch that they fall apart as well. Okay, so if you want to try this at home to prove it to yourself or just amaze your friends, they'll think you're a magician, is to do the same thing. Get some construction paper or, like I said, yarn, different colored yarn, put it together and give them the object and a pair of scissors and say, try it. Cut any one you want. Have a whole bunch of them there. It's pretty cool. All right, so now that I told you about a little bit of the background of where all this came from, let's get started with the process, because I want you to work on your, and I don't need these anymore, I want you to work on your purpose, okay? So it's a very big passion of mine to help people with their purpose. So we're going to make some lists, okay? 3 lists. There's 3 lists, there's 3 rings. The list will go in the rings eventually, okay? And when we get there, you'll understand why. So these are lists of your activities, not mine, not your brother's, not your spouse's, not your boss's, your activities. Think about what you do during the daytime, whether it's work, school, hobbies, bowling, whatever, gardening. So the first list, put on the top of the page, stuff I am good at. Now, stuff you're good at, you could get good from practice. You can get good because you have natural ability. I mean, I can't carry a tune in a handbasket, okay? I cannot sing. I can't draw pictures. I butcher stick figures. But some people naturally can sit down with pencil and paper and draw a beautiful drawing, okay? Or, for instance, I was pretty good as a drummer when I was younger. But there were some guys who could take a drumstick and make it go so fast with one hand that I couldn't do it. I just don't have that ability. That wasn't my gift. That wasn't my, whatever. But we all have gifts and talents. So take that list, right on top, stuff I'm good at, and start listing the activities that you're good at, okay? Things you're naturally good at. No analysis, no judgment. Don't try to put anything in it. Don't get heady about it. Just things that you do that you're good at. All right, pause the video. When you're done, come back and we'll do the next list. All right? All right, welcome back. Let's do the second list now. The next list is stuff I love to do. Now, this doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. Some things that are on the first list can also be on the second list, okay? That's what we're looking for, you know? That's cool. You can have duplicates. So these are things that you love to do, you know? I mean, you don't necessarily have to be good at it, but it's just something you like to do. Like, for instance, when I used to play drums, I used to have a room with my drums in it, and I'd play it. Was I that good? I wasn't going to make much money doing it, but I enjoyed to do it. Loved to play with the different cymbals and drums and different, you know, I put the headset on, I'd listen to different kinds of music and try to copy the drummer on that. This is something I love to do. What is it you love to do? List it down. It can be easy or hard. There's some things you love to do that it just, sometimes it frustrates you because you're not very good at it. You know, like say you're repairing watches. You love the finished product of the watch or the clock that runs really well, but you know, you just don't have the ability to handle all those little parts all the time, and you have to take a break now and then so you don't end up breaking it. Could be a hobby or a task at work, whatever, but they give you joy, all right? Just remember, things that you love to do. Okay, pause the video, come back in a little bit. We'll do the third one. Okay, this is the third, last but not least. And again, when you list on this one, it can also be duplicates from the other two. That's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. These are things that makes, like you can do it right now or have done it, or can make a lot of money. Now, that's your definition, okay? What's a lot of money to you may not be a lot of money to someone else or vice versa. Just remember there's something you can do that someone would be willing to pay for, okay? So that's your third list. Do that, pause the video, we'll come back, and then we'll start to put all this stuff together. All right, so now it's the chalk talk thing. That's why I got the board here. All righty, so I'm going to take you back to high school math. This is what they call set theory. To remember making circles and putting things in there, either numbers or items, and then you find out whether from circle A and circle B, if there's any overlap. That's called, I forgot the word. Anyhow, so they have that in common, all right? Or sometimes when you're thinking about two different sets of things, you include both of them, that's called a union, okay? So it's an intersection. So we're gonna talk about that because we got three rings, we're gonna look for the intersections, all right? So let's do that now. And I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, Venn diagrams. Venn diagrams, all right? So we're gonna do something here with things you can eat, okay? We have over here a banana. And then over here we have a lemon. Is that one? Yeah. Okay, two, okay? So now we're gonna make circles. We've got the lemon circle right here. And then on the other side, we have the banana circle. Okay, so let's look at the banana. What are things that the banana has? Well, it's texture, it's external texture, it's smooth. And it's sweet. Okay? So, and let's look at the lemon. What does the lemon have? It's, instead of being sweet, it's sour. Let's use the right color with the right circle, Don. And it's bumpy. The skin is bumpy. It's not smooth. Come on, hands. There we go. Okay, so those are things they both have, but they're different. So they're not shared. So what do they have in common? Where do they intersect? They intersect right here where it overlaps, and they both are yellow. And they're both fruit. That's the intersection. That's what they have in common. All right? So I'm going to stop here for a second. You can look at that. My handwriting's not the greatest in the world. That's from pre-med. Don't blame me. Anyhow, so that's what we're going to do with your activities. We're going to, instead of 2 circles, we're going to have 3 circles for each of the different kind of activities. Okay? And then we're going to see where they intersect. All right, so we got 3. 1. I think it's time for some new markers. And 3. All right, so you've got one kind of activity. Say, for instance, these are the things you're good at, okay? These are the things you enjoy, and these are the things you can make money at, okay? So what I would do on your papers, your lists, start filling them in here, each individual one, and then start looking at those lists and see where they come together, where they intersect. Now, you may have called the same activity something different on the different lists. Look for those. Sometimes you worded them differently, but they're the same thing. What we're going to do is when you get done, we're going to look for that where they all 3 intersect, okay? What did I do with my clicker here? Okay, so we're going to look for those activities that intersect on all 3. You got your talent, stuff you're good at. You got big bucks, what is it you can do or have done, you can make money. Someone will pay you for those activities. And passion, stuff you'd love to do. We're going to put those up there. Okay, so, and that's going to look like this. Probably your drawing's better than mine. But do that. Pause it and do that. Come back in a few minutes and let's talk some more, okay? Alrighty, welcome back. So now we're going to look to see where the intersection is between those 3 activities. Now, I don't know what other people call it because I don't really pay attention to other people, how they do things, but I call this your gold. That part in the middle there. Now, why do I call it the gold? Because those are the activities that you do that mean they are probably, what's the word I'm looking for? The most life-enhancing activities you do. You enjoy them, you do them well, and you can get paid for them, okay? So think about it this way. When you do those activities, you're probably going to feel like you're more in the flow, the term that I use. Things go easily, you make money, and at the end of the day, when you do them, you probably have more satisfaction. I did something today that is meaningful to me, okay? So again, those things by themselves are not your purpose, but they point you in that direction. They get you on that road to your purpose. So, why is that important? Because, like I said before, you can have activities that you're good at that you hate. Give you an example. When I worked in aerospace, because of my own paranoia probably, I was very good at a particular security function. I'm not going to go into details, but I'll tell you it's just something I was damn good at, and I probably put effort into being good at it because I didn't want to be audited and get dinged for it. Well, what happened is other projects around my area found out about that, and they wanted me to do that on their project as well. And I didn't want to because I hated it. So there you go. There's something I'm good at, but I don't want to do it. So if I do it, I'm not going to have that satisfaction. It's again about working for the paycheck. You know, things you love to do that you may not, nobody wants to pay for. So that's just your hobby. You're going to do it at home, like playing the drums or gardening or whatever. You really enjoy doing that. But, you know, it's not your purpose. You're not put here. Because your purpose is not only just for you, it's for serving others. Okay? When we serve others, we are adding to the goodness of the world. When we serve others, we do get that satisfaction because I'm doing something that's important. Okay? If you think about talents, we all are good at different things. We can't be good at everything. If we did, I guess there'd be one person on the earth and they would take care of everything. But you know, that's how our economy works. You know, I don't know how to build a car from scratch, but I buy it from a dealership that came from a manufacturer that did that, and engineers and blah, 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 blah. They did things to make something I wanted. And what I give them in return? Money. Okay? So, or in a bartering situation, you may be, you know, the farmer can grow lettuce and you know how to cut grass. And so you can barter those things so that you can eat and he has a beautiful lawn. Those kind of things. I mean, that's very simplistic. But the thing is your purpose, I believe. Now, we can argue where it comes from, but I believe we all are put here for different reasons. And that doesn't change no matter what happens in the world or what happens to us. Okay? So anyhow, the things that you do, your activities, can give you some guidance, point in a general direction of where your purpose is, and maybe get you going. All right. If you have questions, put them down below in the comments. I will answer them. If there's anything you would like to see, topic-wise around purpose, let me know, and I will work on that and bring it to you. All right. Donald Henderson signing out. See you in the next video.